Alright, people. So, in this video, I'm going to be making some hot takes that are going to get me flamed and thrown into the gulag. So, yeah, are you all ready for this? Because these are some real hot takes that I'm going to probably get butchered over. These are mild takes, these are spicy red hot takes. So, yeah, here we go. The Horizon games are very overrated in my opinion. Like, they're decent gaming experiences, but that just whole franchise is just everywhere now, and I don't know, I don't like them as much as other people do. Combat is fine, the combat is probably the best part. I really don't like the open world, I really don't like the stories in both those games, and the dialogue and characters are just awful. I said that they're awful. So yeah, I think they're very overrated. And now, second one, now not the second one, the second and third ones are about one of my favorite games ever, which is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Now, the first one is going to be a positive hot take. It's that I don't hate the combat. I actually, in fact, like it very, very much. I think it's very good for its time, and it fits perfectly with how a Witcher is supposed to fight. And like, you have to focus on bestiary, you have to find out the weakness of each creature or enemy type, and then you have to implement those things into your gameplay and swordplay. And there's a lot of like skills that you can unlock which make the game extremely flashy. Like, there is the sword whirl ability, the rend, and then there's Igni Firestream, there's Art Shockwave. There's tons of abilities that make the game look good on top of playing good. And I think I agree, yes, it's aging. It's of course showing its age because it is fucking 10 years old, but I still find it pretty good. And I think there's a lot of like ways to go about that combat, unless you just like focus on spamming Quen, then you can't be it. Okay, so the next one, the negative one, is that I think the third act of the game, specifically the part of the game after the Bald Mountain quest with Imblerith, where you take Ciri to the Bald Mountain and Geralt just pumps his head open like a piñata. That one, I absolutely do not like the third act that much. Like, it's good, the feelings are there, the characters are there, the emotions are there, the endings are absolutely perfect, but the whole act with the quests and everything, even the side quests, are not as high quality as the rest of the game. I feel they're very, very rushed and messy and chaotic, and there's obviously a lot of cut content during those parts of the game. So yeah, I think that's a hot take. The next one is that Far Cry 5 is the best Far Cry game. Yes, I actually mean that. In my opinion, it's the best Far Cry game, and I think Joseph Seed is the best Far Cry villain. Sorry, Ignacio. Sorry, Gustavo. Now, this one isn't really a video game, like specific video game related hot take. It's more of a video game industry hot take. So I think there are too many Hollywood celebrities with video games these days, involved in video games these days, and as much as I love to see more of Matthew McConaughey or someone else on my screen, the fact that the video game industry gives more preference and respect to Hollywood, to absolutely random Hollywood celebrities like Anthony Mackie than they do to their own developers, just makes me really sad. The Mass Effect 3 endings, especially the Destroy ending, are not as bad as people make them out to be. I actually like them. I said it. I finally said it. Yes, I like the Mass Effect 3 endings. No matter what you think of its story, The Last of Us Part 2's is extremely impressive in terms of gameplay, combat, fidelity, and level design. I think Ghost of Tsushima has a much better narrative than The Last of Us Part 2. Like, It's baffling to me that The Last of Us Part 2 won Best Narrative at 2020 Game Awards over Ghost of Tsushima. I think the Ghost of Tsushima's narrative, story, character writing, dialogue just blow The Last of Us 2's story out of the water. I still like The Last of Us 2's narrative, but I think it is extremely flawed to win the Best Narrative award over a almost perfect narrative like Ghost of Tsushima. Days Gone nails the dystopian post-apocalyptic setting and vibe better than any other zombie game, be it Dying Light, be it Last of Us, be it Resident Evil or whatever. It's just like you actually feel like a drifter in a world that is overran by freaks. Ben Starr as Clive Rossfield in Final Fantasy XVI is one of the best video game performances of all time, if not the single best. He's up there with the likes of Kevin Conroy as Batman, Doug Cockle as Geralt, Roger Clark as Arthur, and I don't mean he's almost good as those people. He is just as good, if not better. Yes, I'm not overhyping or like overrating him. I do think he is that good. He plays Clive through three different periods of his life and he does all three so perfectly, and there's just so much emotion in this voice. Like there's a scene where one character died, and that's just in the demo of the game, the opening hour of the game. And when that character dies, the voice acting by Ben Starr is just so good. It feels like someone actually died in the recording booth. It feels like that. You are like, what the fuck, dude? He is channeling in all the emotions. And I love him. I love his performance. It's just 10 out of 10. Many new open world games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Ghost of Tsushima even, Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Man 2 and a lot of other open world games these days are basically all what people call the Ubisoft type open world games. The ones with the checklist collectathons in their open world design. And most people, including me, just ignore them for doing that and don't give them shit like we do to Ubisoft games just because they don't feel repetitive and as flawed as Ubisoft games do. They cover it up pretty nicely, but they're still just that, they're checklist collectathons. And this one is not a direct video game opinion, but I really very much think the Fallout Amazon Prime show is much better than HBO's The Last of Us, both as an adaptation and a standalone TV show. GTA 4 is the best GTA game, period. Art direction matters more than graphics. Games from a decade ago like Arkham Knight, The Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed Unity, all of them like look better than most AAA titles these days. And that is because of superior art direction and attention to detail, lighting and everything else. It's not because of high fidelity graphics. It's because of the detail that went into creating those certain sets and environments and the art direction that went into making them so visually appealing. This final one is probably going to get me like speared from both ends, and like there are two communities I'm going to be triggering with this. Like both, I could have stood with either, but I'm going to be making a very non-biased and I think which is a very level-headed take. So yeah, there we go. Bring out your weapons. Now it doesn't matter if the protagonist in a game is black, white, straight, lesbian, gay, transgender, animal, alien. All that matters if it's a good written character or not. And I hate bigots that start hating on games because the main character is not their preferred race or gender or sexuality, or if the main character is too ugly for them. But I also hate people that just use the bigotry victim card when people criticize their game for what is actual bad writing a lot of times. I think that's going to be it. So yeah, that's going to be it. Steve out.
Right, lad. Grab your piece. We'll get stuck in.